Menu English only. No. Cycle with left or right. Press back to return. Press next to continue.
One single one of you can hear me because I have my mic on mute. So we're gonna be doing this channel. Um, uh, what the heck? Hey, bro. One single one of you can hear me because okay. That means we good. We good. So to start this, man, let me just start off by saying that thank y'all, every last one of y'all who came in and is here supporting. We are going to be doing this. I'm gonna start getting consistent with this. Now that I have a little bit more time, on my hands, we're gonna get into all the good stuff that's going on in the sports world. We're gonna talk about gaming. We're gonna talk about life, personal stuff, all that good type of stuff. And we're just gonna make sure um, that everything is moving pretty smoothly over here. So, with that being said, let's get started up into this. Yo, look, we are going to start with the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers is where my main focal point is going to be. Definitely because they don't even look that good. I mean, I know that playing last night. They didn't look really too powerful. And that's with AD, and that's also with LeBron James playing as well. Here, let me lower this real quick for you guys. Hold on one second. That's actually super weird. Shoot, that stuff looks fine. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. So I had games playing in the background. Don't worry, I already streamed that a little bit earlier, but we got to talk about it. With AD and with LeBron James, the Lakers are not looking too hot. They are looking way less productive than ever before. I mean, definitely coming into the in-season tournament, I mean, they were playing lights out, and they gave it their all, and then they say, all right, we're done. We'll be fine. But like last year, they cannot afford to be in the play-in tournament. That is going to slow them down significantly. And also, too, they might be looking to make a trade here soon because what they got right now is not really working out. And the one thing I noticed about the Los Angeles Lakers is this, like when it really comes down to it, they struggle to actually build, like they have struggled to build a quality team. Since I mean, we could go all the way back into the bubble. That's probably the last quality Lakers team that they had. Last year, you could say what you want, but the honest truth is they were just having a string of good games. Then once they ran into the Denver Nuggets, they were gassed, they were tired. But now they're doing a lot of the same things. Now they don't look as good as they used to. They do not look as good as earlier, actually later in the season last year, going up against the Grizzlies. And maybe that's because they had a flame lit under them. But regardless of the situation, they still have a lot of work to do. I really do think that pretty much anybody on that team is tradable outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis. Um, they might even have to consider making a trade with Austin Reeves and Cam Reddish. And I'm like, Cam Reddish played 19 minutes and had absolutely no points. Same with Prince. He had no points, and they played a good chunk of the game, and you just come out with 0 points. You're not getting any production out of them. You're going to have to make a move. And you might be like, well, why would you trade Austin Reeves? The Lakers have to start at some point thinking about their future. If I remember correctly, Lakers do not have too many picks, and even the picks that they do have, they're probably going to be expected to be mid range or very very late round lottery picks, if that. They don't have a lot of draft capital, so they might have to start considering, looking into potentially making a move. They just don't look as quality. I mean, they got a lot to go through and they got a lot to learn. So that's with that. I mean, the Miami Heat beat them yesterday. Currently, right now, also as well, we have the Bucks. They are playing right now, and I got something to say about the Bucks. The Bucks are they're 24-10. They're not bad at all. Right now, they're currently beating the Spurs 49-46. But they don't look as promising. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing that we have to consider. This is Damian Lillard's first time being over here in. This is Damian Lillard's literally first time being over here in Milwaukee, and you also have to consider too. He really didn't want to go to Milwaukee. So with that being said, can Giannis and Damian Lillard, they look pretty good. But when you start throwing in other factors like Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, I just feel like that team should be a little bit better. And I feel that, they have been kind of struggling a little bit. So they still got a lot of stuff to go through. Get used to each other. Hopefully after All-Star break, they start those role players start stepping up a little bit more. Role players to former All-Stars or All-Star players, however you want to word it, or starters, they start turning up, because they're going to need it when they start making these playoff runs, when going against teams like the Boston Celtics, especially the Celtics. But the Celtics always struggle in those big-time games. They're also going to need it as well when it comes to the 76ers, because Joel Embiid just seems like a dominant force. But that would be an insane matchup. Joel Embiid against Giannis right now. Woo! That's prime time. That is prime time. That would be an amazing matchup. So I have been an opportunity to obviously see that. But something that I really, really want to talk to you guys about is the Chicago Bulls. Now, look, I am a Chicago fan. And it pains me to say that sometimes, especially times like now. The Bulls look better without Zach LaVine. Let's just be honest. They look better. Zach LaVine does not want to be there, number one. And number two, I mean, the Bulls are in a tough position. They still got Lonzo's contract. They got Alex Caruso's contract. Alex Caruso is getting a pretty decent amount. You got Zach LaVine. You're trying to trade him, but it doesn't seem that he has as much draft capital as they were hoping for. Just because they are seeing how the Bulls are performing without him. And on top of that, you got Vucevic as well. I get it. You sign him back, you don't want to lose him in free A. But we need to talk about some of those other players on there, man. Patrick Williams, look. Patrick Williams' ceiling is this high. It's up there. But he ain't going to develop on no Chicago Bulls now. He's not going to develop here. It's kind of like with Lauri Markkanen. Lauri Markkanen was very, down. His potential was up, but he was performing down here when he was on the Bulls, because the Bulls just don't know how to develop players. You saw that with Wendell Carter. Jimmy Butler ended up coming out, but Jimmy Butler played a lot better on other teams. He played pretty good on the Bulls, but he even played even better on other teams now, where he's taking more of that leadership role. The Bulls have always, since Derrick Rose times, since the end of Derrick Rose times, they have really struggled to actually formulate something as a franchise, and they have not been very relevant. Outside of, what was that, last season when they had their hot run, and then, Lonzo Ball gets hurt, and then everything just falls apart. That's 2 times, by the way. There's actually more like 3 times. Because if you take in consideration, well, maybe 4. Because you take in consideration, you had Derrick Rose in there. He gets hurt. He's never the same. Then you have Luol Deng in there. He gets hurt. He's really never the same. Joakim Noah gets hurt. He's never really the same. And now we're dealing with Lonzo Ball getting hurt. He ain't never really the same. There's something going on over there in that medical staff, and they need to be investigated. I don't care. I said it. The Chicago Bulls got a lot of potential with Kobe White, DeSumo, some other key players on there as well. And they look a lot better when Drummond is on the floor, and they also look a lot better when not only Drummond's on the floor, when Drummond's paired up with Caruso on the floor. Billy Donovan's rotations don't make sense. Going back to the Lakers, Darvin Ham's rotations really don't make sense. Some of these coaches' rotations just really don't make sense, and at the fault, their team is struggling because of it. So it's kind of just like, hey, what do we got going on here? What can we do? How can we improve? With the Chicago Bulls, they really have to start moving some of these pieces and start figuring out who's the person you're going to build around, what you're going to do, or are you going to build a system? Because that's kind of how it goes in the NBA. In the NBA, you can make a decent system, but there still has to be a star player in there for you to actually get over the hump and get an NBA championship. But when we're talking about the Chicago Bulls, they don't even have nothing in place. I mean, it's just atrocious to see. I mean, the Knicks, when we look at a team like the Knicks really, we're not looking at them as championship contenders. However, the New York Knicks are taking steps in the right direction with that RJ Barrett trade, getting OG Anunoby. and then they end up getting him, and they look a little bit better. By the way, that's my chair. That's my chair. Don't tweet. That's my chair. Okay. By the way, they look better when, they're looking a little bit better, by making that trade because they're trying to make the steps in the right direction. I don't think the New York Knicks are going to bring in a big star. And I quite frankly think in the NBA, you can't do that no more. You cannot get away with that. If you have a solid team, don't trade half your team and your depth away for stars. Now we are getting a look at the Phoenix Suns, who are the most recent team that did this. Do we think that they can win a championship? Possibly. They have the talent on there, but they don't have the depth. And you see, that's what you're sacrificing when it comes to these scenarios. Same thing happened when with Kevin Durant ended up going to Brooklyn, teaming up with Kyrie and James Harden. It just doesn't work out all the times because you got these dogs, who are scoring machines that do better on their own team, and the team's built around them. You saw that with James Harden and the 76ers. Now you look at him on the Clippers. The Clippers, this is the Clippers' last chance. I don't care what anybody says. This is the Clippers' last chance. After this, you had Kawhi, Paul George for this long. Everybody always gets hurt. Now you got Westbrook coming off the bench playing with that unit, looking great. And then you have James Harden with the starting unit. He's looking great as well. We can't sit here any longer and, and I'm quite sure Steve Ballmer cannot sit there any longer and really, deal with the implications that are to come with that. It's an issue. It's an issue. So let me change this real quick for you guys. I think it says 6'8". I'm just turning this up so you guys get a smoother experience over here. There's a lot. I think it says 6'8". Let's see if that works. That makes it a little bit better for y'all. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. What did I do? I might have killed this thing, bro. Yo, I might have killed this in the process of doing this. Hold on. Let me turn that down a little bit. God. Oh, my gosh. Hold on. I turned that mug down. I don't remember where it was at. Let's try this. This might run a little bit smoother. Bro, I literally killed that. I think I have to keep it up here. I do. Yeah, switch to the CPU. Alright, it should smooth out. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Whatever. I really don't even care. Y'all looking at my face anyways. I'll just make my face bigger at the end of the day. But this is what we're dealing with when it comes to some of these teams. Their difficulties are very, 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 very well noticeable. And it's an issue definitely when it comes to this, because you're trying to build a team that can win a championship. You know, you don't really care. You don't really care about the other stuff that's going on when it comes to this. You know, you're looking to build a team that can win a championship and go out there and make a huge difference. And sometimes to get that done is you have to do what's necessary, and that is building a team that has a lot of depth. And with that depth, you got to surround it with stars. You look at someone like OKC Thunder. They are honestly 1 star away. 1 star all-star away from, succeeding. Then you look at a team like the Denver Nuggets, who just won. They had a lot of depth. They drafted. They got Murray. They got Jokic. Those are their stars right there. And that's how they make a difference as well. So you have to take that type of stuff into consideration. You got to look at those type of things and then see from there, how can we build out this team? How can we make this team more successful? And how can we be better? All right, let's change gears here. Let's move over to the NFL. As I told you, I'm a Chicago fan, so we got to talk about the Bears and the Bears situation, because what is going on? The Chicago Bears are in a tricky spot, buddy. They got Justin Fields as the quarterback, and we got all these analysts saying that they should give up on Justin Fields and they should move on. Quite frankly, I don't know what you do. Because what if you go in the draft, you have the first pick, and I believe you'll probably have the 9th or 10th pick with the Bears record. You go out and get Caleb Williams. You got to do the same things that you have to do with Fields. You still got to build the rest of the team. So if you feel that Fields is your guy, you need to build a team. If you feel he's not your guy, you still got to build your team. You still got to make something happen. You see, the issue is with them is if they decide to give up on Fields now, they are going to deal with the exact same problems as if they kept him. Now, can you take someone like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Josh Allen, like a Lamar Jackson, like a Joe Burrow, not really Justin Herbert. No, you could take Justin Herbert, because Justin Herbert, it was just suffering from that coaching, man. I don't know what they were doing. But can you take players like that and put them on the Chicago Bears, and would the Bears be a better team? Yes, absolutely. So then that's where you start looking at Justin Fields. Well, he hasn't really had an opportunity. Who's he been throwing to? He has a much higher QBR rating, much higher success rate, way more touchdowns, no interceptions when throwing to DJ Moore. But all of his other receivers is where all those other numbers come from. You haven't given him a legitimate chance. This is like the very first medium chance that you have given him. And even with this chance, it's not even really that good. You're still going to be struggling. You're still going to have the same issues. You're still going to have problems. You're still going to be looking and trying to figure out, man, is Justin Fields that guy? We don't know. I think Justin Fields is that guy. You put him in another system, you put him on another team, you put him in a better situation. I think Justin Fields got the potential of like a Jalen Hurts or a Lamar Jackson, if we're being completely honest. He has the legs, he has the athletic ability, he has the talent, he has the arm, he does have the accuracy, but the issue is the team that he's on, the system. When you have those type of problems, it makes it very difficult for you to succeed. It doesn't matter who you are. Imagine if the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes. And let's say the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes, but they didn't give him no weapons. They didn't give him no talent. They didn't give him no O-line. They didn't give him no They gave him a very mediocre defense. They gave him absolutely nothing. And then they paired him with a coach that has absolutely nothing in his playbook that pairs with his play style. Tell me how he would do. Football is a team sport. It's 11 on 11. And Patrick Mahomes is a perfect example in this situation because when he doesn't have, the highest of quality of receivers, or his receivers are not performing well, look what happens. Look at Lamar Jackson, for instance. Lamar Jackson came in the league. He running for his life. But over time, he has evolved this game to take out that running and only run when necessary. You see, when you have that athletic ability, that should not, as a quarterback, that should not be your game. But it should be a complement to your game. That when you get put in the predicament, when you get put in the situation, when that pressure starts building, when those issues starts happening, when that starts, that's when that talent should kick in. That's when the athletic abilities, the running, the escaping the pockets. But if you look at someone like the New York Jets, for instance, Aaron Rodgers only gets 3 plays and he gets hurt because that O-line is atrocious. So we don't know. We don't know if Zach Wilson's actually that bad. He might be, but we don't know if he's that bad. He's bad on the Jets, absolutely. But how Aaron Rodgers is talented as well. But Aaron Rodgers is up there in age. Is he going to be running the whole entire time? Maybe not. They got to beef up that old line over there in the Jets. And the same thing they got to do with the Bears. Justin Fields is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league. I'm pretty sure he's throwing more interceptions than he's throwing touchdowns. What does that say? Look at that issue. Right there. He's throwing more interceptions than he probably has. Matter of fact, let me fact check this. Let me fact check this for y'all. In his career. He's throwing 40 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. So I apologize to Mr. Fields. But still, 40 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, that's a 82% QBR rating. If the Bears decide to give up on him and don't give him no talent and don't give him an actual chance, they got to be one of the worst organizations out there. I get it. You got someone like Caleb Williams coming out of the draft. Of course, it depends if Justin Fields wants to stay there as well. Of course, they can exercise that 5th-year option, use the franchise tag, whatever the case may be. Okay, that's perfectly fine. But here's the biggest part of this is with Justin Fields, if you don't know his full potential, because you can trade him, and then he could go be an MVP. He could go be a Lamar Jackson. Then how are you looking? At that point, how are you looking? For real. You're probably looking a little goofy. But that is part of the trade-off right there, is you don't know. We don't know how Caleb Williams is going to look. We don't know how Justin Fields would look in a better system. We don't know that. All we can go off of is what the Bears have shown in front of us, and that ain't much. That's not much. So there's that going on. They have a big game against the Packers next week. If the Bears win, more than likely the Packers will be out of the playoffs. Obviously, if the Packers win, they will be in. So that's a very big game for both teams. The Bears got to win that game. They got something to prove. The Packers got to win that game because they want to make the playoffs. They want to get it moving. And think about that. Jordan Love is what? This is his first year starting, and they are already looking to make a playoff push. But look at what he got. He got a much better situation. He's got a much better system. He got a much better, area, and he can make a difference in that segment. So now, honestly, if we're going to sit here and we're going to keep talking a little bit about the NFL, and then, we'll transition into some other things. By the way, just the division playing in the background. I was running this a little bit earlier. This game's smooth, bro. The Division 2, if y'all haven't played this, definitely go ahead and do that. It's a smooth game. But with the rest of the league in the NFL, we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Obviously, with the Buffalo Bills are going to be in the playoffs if they win, or if they lose and they get a Jaguars lose, I believe, and a Steelers lose, then they will be in the playoffs, and they will be going in as a sixth or seventh seed. If they win, they'll go in as a two seed, and then it comes up to Miami. So, you got a lot of people on the bubble. You got the Texans and the Steelers that are sitting on the bubble at 9-7. Colts are 9-7. Bills are 10-6. Jags are 9-7. Browns are obviously in. They're 11-5. So we won't even worry about that. But in the AFC, that bottom half that's still in the hunt right now, they are a threat to the top seeds. They are a threat. Nobody wants to go against the Bills. Nobody's going to want to go against the Bills in that first round. If they're the second seed, it's a little bit different story. But we are going to have to see what they actually do and how they actually accomplish this. Also, too, I mean, in the NFC, you got the Buccaneers. They're first in the NFC South at 8-8. You got the Packers at 8-8, second in the NFC North. You got the Seahawks at 8-8, third in the NFC West. Saints 8-8. They are second in the NFC South. If they win that game and the Buccaneers lose their game, the Saints will be in. So it's a 50-50 shot. If the Buccaneers win, they're in. Falconeers. What the heck? What the hell? Falcons. They are 7-9. They're third in the NFC South. So I believe what they need to beat the Saints and they need the Buccaneers to lose. And I believe that they will be in. And the Vikings, of course, they get in if they win and the Bears beat the Packers. They'll sneak their way in there. So this is a very, very interesting standing. I've been saying this, that you got to watch out for the Rams. I have been saying that you have to watch out for the Los Angeles Rams. They got some real talent out there. And that game against the 49ers is going to be a very interesting game now. I don't think it's going to be no blowout. I think that game is going to be close. It's going to be tight-knitted, and we are going to see what is going to happen. But the 49ers are already secured that first seed, so it really doesn't matter if they win or lose. Rams already in. It really doesn't matter if they win or lose. The 49ers will always be first seed at this point. The only way that they would have to, probably play the starters in the majority of the game is against if the Lions beat the Cowboys. And we all know what happened with that call. I posted videos about it. I posted shorts about it. I still don't know how that happens, but it is what it is at this point. So these are all still pretty significant games that's going on in the NFL. Man, I want to talk to y'all. First of all, let me know if y'all like this setup that I got. I think this just makes everything a little bit smoother. Um, this is the Division 2. It's, like I said, I played it and it's playing in the background right now. So yeah, that's still all me. But if we're being completely honest, man, let's talk. I wish I had some more folks up in the chat. That's my chair, by the way. Again, that's my chair. But regardless of the situation, man, I mean, my fault. I'm just looking at what I was doing during this division. Man, I gotta talk with y'all, man. Man, let's be honest, man. Man, relationships are interesting. I know y'all seen that title now. It's a very interesting thing, especially in a time like now, where we have so much digital bandwidth and we have so much. We're in this digital space. It makes things kind of awkward. or not awkward, but it makes it very different. So when I'm on YouTube, and you're listening to some different podcasts, you're listening to some different videos, and whatever the case may be, and you know oftentimes you kind of gear, depending on who you watch, it could be very good information, or it can just be kind of a little bit outdated information, or it could just be, yeah, these people are so high up here financially, that what they got going on doesn't really pertain to what actually is. Um, Look, at the end of the day, don't be like me. Don't be like me, and let don't live and then have regrets, or make the same mistake over, or let that one get away. I heard that so many times, and I'm always like, but how this, you don't know until you're in that situation. Look, when you got yours, really really hold on to yours. Really really love on yours. Really listen to how yours is feeling, and listen to how they are communicating to you. And just honestly, at the end of the day, it's like learning to be, the best man possible. Um, you're not gonna know everything, and you're gonna make mistakes. Sometimes it's gonna be stupid mistakes, and sometimes it's gonna be the same. But like, at the end of the day, someone's always going to choose their own happiness, you know, or themselves eventually, over you, and they're gonna choose it over, you know, those things because they want to be happy. They deserve to be happy. I mean, oftentimes I think, we look at y'all got me up here talking crazy, man. We look at things like so in so many different ways. There's someone can leave you just because they're not happy. Someone can leave you because they're struggling with something. Someone can leave you because personal reasons, or just because they feel that, hey, this ain't for me anymore. That's perfectly fine. People have the right to leave, right? But when it really comes down to it, and you look at yourself, in the mirror, and you say, did I do my best? Did I give everything I had? Did I learn anything? If you're coming out of something and you still haven't learned something, it might be an issue. You see, my biggest issue was, um, I can sometimes struggle. You know, I mean, just like anybody. I mean, you could sometimes struggle to read other people's feelings, or struggle to um, see other people's feelings and all that type of stuff. So you can, you can miss out on something that could have been. And then you always find yourself having to fight back. And I think the honest truth is, like, sometimes I feel like that can be an addiction, bro. Like, if we're being completely honest. Um, Look, I understand, everybody comes from different backgrounds and different walks of life, and they all have different things going on. Um, but one thing that's for certain for me is everything I have, I worked for. And I had to really fight for to be able to, get the things that I have, and um, and although everything that I have might not be the highest quality of everything, it might not be the greatest everything, it might not be the best. I have fought for it, so I'm so used to fighting for stuff. But I think maybe that can be something that can be a pro and can be a con, because if I have something, I'm not fighting for it anymore. I feel like you can kind of just become comfortable or careless or whatever. You know, look, when you're in a relationship and a person's telling you something, trust me when I say this. Listen and follow through on your actions and your words, because I would say probably one of the worst feelings that you can have is when your words really don't mean much anymore. You see, if someone leaves you because they're not happy with you, that's one thing. I think I got disconnected for some random reason. I'm sorry. But that's exactly what can happen, and that's exactly what will happen. When you have someone that's in your corner and is willing to fight for you and just about do anything for you, let me tell you something, man. Don't be a dumbass. Don't be me. Um, because they eventually will leave. And as they should leave. Are entitled to leave, and they're entitled to enjoy life how they want to enjoy it. And, you know, hopefully, whether your situation, whatever it may be, hopefully you can have a conversation, with that person about whatever it is that happened. Because I feel like the worst thing is to leave a stone, is to leave that stone unturned, especially when you know that you did something wrong. And it's not the point of explaining what you did, but I think it's more so the point of closure. Because let me tell you something. 9 times out of 10, bro, if she says that she ain't gonna do this no more, if she says that she don't want to do this no more, 9 times out of 10 she ain't gonna do it no more. Your opportunity has left the train station. Your opportunity has left the window. You're done. It's a wrap. So knowing that, like I said, don't be your boy. Find a way to really please someone. And look, the best thing I can do and say here is literally just give advice. At this point in time, because it's like, what are your qualifications? What do I qualify for? Absolutely nothing. But do I have some experience? Absolutely. Can I talk about that experience? Absolutely. Can I share that? You're absolutely right. But I think we all have, like, hey, what's up? What's up, L3? L3 Hunnit? What's good? Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. Um, but I think, like, back to the topic. I think, like, when it comes to this new age, of, like, relationships, like, I think the most important thing is to understand people's intentions. And I think the second most important thing is to understand exactly what that person wants. You know, and if you can get a little bit of that, if you can get um a little bit of understanding from that person, then that's good. But the issue is like, you have to understand. The next part to this is like, bruh, you gotta understand when something's done with. You gotta understand when something's over with. Because you sit there and you are not getting the hints, bruh. Now your chance went from 1% to like -5%. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. The moment that you realize that it's jacked up, it's messed up, or whatever the case may be, there's two things you could do. You could try to fix it, or you could put a band-aid on it. Oftentimes, where I see, what's the easiest thing is just to put a band-aid over it. I mean, just say, oh, it's all good, we're fine. Nothing's going on, this, and that, and continue. But in that person's back in their mind, they're always going to remember that. You can't control what how people think. Listen to what I'm saying here. You can't really you can't control how people think. How people think is exactly how they are going to think. So it doesn't matter how you perceive something when it comes to this. All that matters is that that person is perceiving it differently than what you're intending it to. So there's a line of communication that has to happen. And if that person still feels that their perception is what their perception is, and your communication does not justify what it is, what's going on, my friend, I don't really think you can get mad when somebody leaves. The worst thing I think the worst thing that you can do at the end of the day is allow yourself to, how do I put this? I think the worst thing that you can do at the end of the day, and like, well, in this situation that we are talking about, is to allow that person to walk away. You may have not meant that in that way. You probably needed your space. You probably needed your time. You probably needed your thing, or whatever the case may be. You probably needed that, and that is 100% fine. I mean, you got to do that. But the moment that you sit there and you let that person walk away, and they feel that you allowed them to walk away, there's no explanation under the sun that's going to be able to justify that. Man, I got some stories for real. I got some crazy stories for real with this stuff, man. How much? I mean, I'm very curious because, like, I'm very curious because when it comes to this type of stuff, like when we're talking about like relationships and things like that, and I want people, I'm gonna keep doing this because I want people to be interacting. I want people to drop stuff in their situations in there, and we can all just talk. We can all just chill, up in here, and we can all just talk about this stuff because this is some interesting stuff. I mean, dang, I would say there's one where I was like, they got away. I think I am pretty lucky um to have at least one last conversation, because at the end of the day that last conversation is everything. I mean, I think as a guy, that's where your intuition kicks in, because you just start realizing, hey, this thing's already, this is over. You can sense, when they're checked out. You can sense that person's checked out, and now, but they're awarding you, not really awarding you. They're letting you have just at least one last conversation, just to set the record straight. Let me tell you, man. In those conversations, when it's the last one, you have to be completely honest. No matter what it is, no matter what it is that you did, no matter what it is that you've done, you got to be completely honest. I feel that a lot of times it's so easy. It's so easy to take someone for granted. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. And sometimes you might not even intentionally mean it. You might not even think that you're doing it. Taking someone for granted is one of the easiest things that you can do, because it's something that you got so used to that it's just, it's expected. It's what it is. But in actuality, taking someone for granted, is also one of the worst things that you can do. In this segment that we're talking about, is also one of the worst things that you can do. because maybe you're taking their grace, maybe you're taking their gratitude, maybe you're taking their happiness, maybe you're taking their love, maybe whatever it is that you're taking for granted, you're taking it for granted. I'm just here to tell you, man, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not. Honestly, I don't care what it is. It's not worth it, bro. It ain't worth it. You have an opportunity. You literally have an opportunity laid out right in front of you to. You have the opportunity right in front of you to potentially, let's say, potentially marry someone. Let's talk about me for a second. You have an opportunity in front of you, to obviously potentially marry someone. I mean, if that's the end goal for you, then by all means, yes. But we're talking here. And you're doing all this planning, you're scoping things out. You're getting ready to have those type of conversations, whether it's with the parents, with the guardians, with the family. And you're looking online, you're trying to get a scope of them prices, because them rings now, them rings. Sorry, that's my index finger. Them rings now, them things could be up there. And you're starting, and that's why everybody in the NBA wants one now. That's why everybody in the NBA and every single sport wants a ring now. Huh? Come on now. But you start scoping those type of things out, and then you just take. You're like, oh, one moment it's like that, and the next moment, because you took something for granted, boom, gone. Now your whole scope is gone. There's no coming back from that. No matter what you say, no matter how hard you work, no matter what you do, it ain't coming back. They ain't coming back. And that's okay. For them, that they're not coming back. It might not be okay for you, but hey, we're sitting here like, hey, we done told you. We done told you multiple times. I done told you multiple times, and you still out here doing the same thing. That's why you got, look, man, I think that conversations like these are so important, because I truly think like as a guy, you don't have these type of conversations. You really don't got have these type of conversations all the time. I mean, typically when you're talking about this type of stuff, they're all on that red pill stuff, or Hollywood stuff, or whatever the case may be. But you don't have a conversation that's genuine like this. To all the three people that's in here. we could go back and forth for this, for hours on this. But the biggest thing is, my biggest advice is, it's like, never take someone for granted, man. Never take someone or something for granted. Work very hard in that, in that relationship, and really, really, really commit to that person. Not just with your words, but also with your action. Because you can be 1 second, oh my gosh, I'm about to marry this person, I'm about to go buy this ring, and then couple days, couple hours, couple months, whatever the case may be, boom, it's gone. It could be going like that. And it might not be because of something they did. It just simply might be something that you kept doing. You feel what I'm saying here? You're not going to get everything right every single time. Sometimes things are just not meant to be. But sometimes things are meant to be, but you failed to see. And you might have the attitude, well, I'll be perfectly fine. There's plenty of fish in the sea. But that don't mean they're for you. That don't mean it's for me. So think about that, next time y'all in a position like that, because literally how you navigate through that situation, what you do in those type of situations, will determine the outcome of of a relationship. So just be cautious, man. At the end of the day, to tell you the truth, just be cautious. Man, I was low key going a little crazy right here. Bah, 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 ha. I don't lie, this game is just fun, bro. It's decent. I just wish that the movement was a little bit better. I feel like the movement is kind of, it's like, I don't know. It's like they're always trying to stick to something. You know what I'm saying? They're always trying to stick to a wall. They stick to the ground. They can't. I mean, there's a bush in the game, and you can't even go through the bush. It's solid. How is the bush solid? Like, look. They're always trying to stick to something. You see what I'm saying? Always trying to stick. But at the end of the day, man, at the end of the day, I mean, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, you just gotta realize when you have someone or something. Forget something. When you have someone of value, and I'm not talking about high value or anything of that nature. I'm just talking about genuine value. When that person truly, truly loves you, when that person truly, truly wants to be with you, when that person truly, truly, seeks after you and would do anything for you, don't take that stuff for granted, man. I'm telling you, it ain't worth it. Learn to learn to learn from your mistakes, learn to grow, and learn to become better in communication and become more mature. So you can move out of this stage of whether if you're a boy and you can move into the actual man. I mean, at the end of the day, it's what it is. I mean, shoot, I don't care. People probably disagree 100% with my opinion. I really don't care, man. I really don't care. Because what they're probably looking at is they're probably looking at something that's short term. Ain't nobody, hey, do I want to do YouTube short term? Absolutely not. Do I want to do live streaming short term? Absolutely not. Do I want to live short term? No, I want to long term. So why can't I have everything else be long term as well? So, hey, what did Eminem say? Admit when it's in its end. I think if you are a person who does in this situation get awarded or honored another opportunity, don't mess up. Don't. I'm telling y'all, man, it is. There's so much more. There's so much more to experience. There's so much more to life. And it can just be going just like that in an instinct. So, um, and learn to take them feelings and expel them out of you, because a lot of times those feelings just bottle up in there and it just completely turns into absolute rage. And let me be honest with you, you ain't want to be out here raging, and that ain't fun either. Um, so learn to be able to adjust those type of things. Um, I think this is the part where I reached the roof. No, it's almost there. Yeah, it's almost there. There's just so many people everywhere. Bro, there's people everywhere in this. But I was going crazy. I'm telling y'all, I was going crazy. I'm curious. Have any of y'all? Have any of y'all ever let? Have any of y'all ever let one? Was the one that got away or something like that? I'm very curious about that because, you know, drop in the comments. drop in the comments if that has ever happened to you, and how did you handle that, and then what did you end up doing? Because hey, I mean, it's a conversation to be had, ain't it? We gonna get on here and we gonna be talking about it all. I don't even care. We're gonna unravel every single aspect, every single book. Nah, some stuff gotta stay personal. Some stuff gotta stay personal. Some stuff gotta stay personal, right? But if you're open to sharing, share in the comments, and I'm gonna live stream it, and we're gonna talk about it on live stream. So, man, whew. All right, so let's wrap up some things, man. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. Man. So let me make my picks for y'all. So y'all have my picks for the week for the NFL. So yeah, so I just do these picks, and pretty much we just take these picks from here, and we just I put them in on FanDuel and DraftKings or whatever. I put it in. But so who we got? So we got the Ravens. So let's talk about it. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up on my phone. It's a little bit better. It's gonna be a little bit better for y'all. Log back in. Boy, this app is glitched. Look at this. Look at this app. Nobody want no horse racing, bro. This app is crazy. All right, so Baltimore Ravens against the Steelers. We got Baltimore Ravens winning. Cleveland Browns against Cincinnati Bengals. We don't know exactly who's going to play, but I still am pretty confident that the Browns will cover the spread at 7 points. Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Tennessee Titans. I think Jacksonville covers the spread by 4.5. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay should cover the spread by 4.5. Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be a close game, but I think the Lions pull it out. Bears versus the Packers. I think the Bears cover the spread. I know it. I've seen all the picks, and everybody has picked the Packers. I don't care. We Chicago. Dallas Cowboys versus Washington Commanders. Dallas Cowboys are going to get that one. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Los Angeles Chargers. We got the Kansas City Chiefs covering the spread at plus 3.5. And we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. We got the Buffalo Bills coming to spread at 3. Yo, those are all my picks for this week. I appreciate every last one of y'all who stopped in, watched the video. Again, that's my chair. That's my chair. That's my chair. But yeah, definitely I want y'all to drop some things into the comments section down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys like. Definitely give this a thumbs up. I think I like this format that we have right here. I think I'm gonna keep going with this format because I can put things in a bunch of different boxes here. So you guys can also see what I'm seeing on my computer screen as well, and then we could just take it from there. So I appreciate every last one of y'all. I think I'm gonna take the camera and move it over here, but I also like talking this way too because it's like the screen's right here, so I might just move the camera up here. But at the same time here, I like when I am able to turn to you too, because then it's like, okay, now I'm talking directly to you. Regardless of the situation, yo, I appreciate every last one of y'all. I'm gonna try to get back on here and stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so yes, it's Friday. So I'm gonna try to get back on here, stream tomorrow for you guys. By the way, let me know who y'all think who's gonna win. We got Michigan against Washington. Now hold on one second. Michigan looks really good. I think that they are very, very well put together. And I think that their defense comes through and makes big plays when needed. Washington, on the other hand, is a little bit more of offensive, but their defense is not too shabby either. But they got some receivers and they got some dogs over there. So, that's the case. I am taking... I'm going to let you know tomorrow. I got to do a little bit more research. So I'm going to let y'all know tomorrow. We're going to be back on. We'll probably be on after the game. So it's probably going to be a real late night show. But that's perfectly fine. We're going to have some more conversations. And we're going to keep talking about some of this stuff. I think we had some good conversations today. So I appreciate every last one of y'all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you share, like, comment. Let's get interactive in here. And I appreciate every last one of y'all. Y'all take care. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to catch y'all.